Have you ever noticed that the more you please others, the less you actually recognize yourself? You say yes. Yes to the favor. Yes to the invitation. Yes to the extra work. Yes to the conversation you don't have strength for. Yes to the relationship dynamic that keeps taking more than it gives. And on the outside, everything looks calm. No conflict, no disappointment, no uncomfortable conversation. But inside, something tightens. A quiet knot forms in the chest. A heaviness gathers behind the eyes. A voice deep within you says, "This is not true." Every time you say yes while your soul is screaming no, you are not just being nice. You are taking out a high-interest loan against your own identity. You borrow temporary peace from the outside world and repay it later with resentment, exhaustion, and self-betrayal. The Stoics understood this with brutal clarity. A person cannot live well while divided against themselves. You cannot keep trading internal truth for external harmony and expect your soul to remain intact. So tonight, we ask the question, how much longer can you afford this debt? Compliance as a currency. It buys immediate relief. You avoid the argument, the disappointed face, the awkward silence, being called selfish, difficult, cold, or ungrateful. And for a moment, saying yes feels easier. But the price is hidden, because every dishonest yes teaches your mind a dangerous lesson. My truth is less important than their comfort. At first it seems small. One extra task, one ignored boundary, one sacrificed evening, one swallowed opinion. But the Stoics' new character is shaped by repetition. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts, and actions do the same. Every time you act against your inner conviction, you stain your self-trust. You teach yourself that your own no cannot be trusted to protect you. In the modern world, this debt compounds faster than ever. Messages arrive instantly. Work follows you home. Social obligations never sleep. Everyone has access to you, unless you choose otherwise. Constant availability has become a strange form of modern survival. You feel pressured to respond quickly, to be flexible, to be easy, to be reachable, to be agreeable. But a life without boundaries is not kindness. It is exposure. And the person who is always available eventually becomes unavailable to themselves. Resentment is not born suddenly. It is recorded quietly. Every dishonest yes becomes an entry in an invisible ledger. You may not speak it aloud, but the mind remembers. I didn't want to do that. I needed rest. I wanted to say no. They didn't even notice what it cost me. And the tragedy is this. You begin resenting people for agreements you never honestly refused. You smile, but internally you keep score. You show up, but your presence becomes poisoned. You say, "It's fine," while your body knows it is not. This is where the debt becomes physical. Tension in the jaw, a tight stomach, shallow breathing, fatigue that rest does not fully repair. The body is honest even when the mouth is not. Seneca warned that no person is truly free who is enslaved by fear. And many people are not enslaved by chains. They are enslaved by the fear of disappointing others. There is a specific moment when keeping the peace becomes self-betrayal. It happens when you know the truth and abandon it anyway. Not because wisdom asked you to be patient, but because fear asked you to disappear. And people can sense it. They may not know the words, but they feel the distance. Because a dishonest yes does not create real closeness. It creates quiet separation. You are present in body, but absent in truth. There comes a point when the debt becomes too large. You have said yes so many times that your personality begins to change shape. You become a reflection of other people's expectations, reliable to them, useful to them, convenient for them, but unclear to yourself. You no longer know what you want because you have spent years asking what will keep others calm. This is the bankruptcy of the authentic self. You succeed in roles you never truly chose. The dependable employee who is silently burning out, the loyal friend who is secretly exhausted, the loving partner who has abandoned too many needs, the responsible family member who carries obligations no one else even sees. From the outside, you may look admirable, but inside there is a hollow feeling. Everyone is pleased with me, but I am not at peace with myself. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when we stop placing our peace in things outside our control. Other people's reactions, disappointment, interpretation of your boundaries, all outside your control. But your honesty, that is yours. Your choices, those are yours. Your integrity, that is yours to protect. And when you no longer recognize your own voice in a crowded room, it is often because you trained it to stay silent so everyone else could be comfortable. That silence is not humility. It is identity deficit. You have spent more of yourself than you have earned back. The debt stops growing when you tell the truth sooner. Not violently, not selfishly, not with cruelty, but clearly. This is where the Stoic practice begins. The positive no. A positive no does not attack, does not over-explain, does not beg for approval. It protects what matters. It sounds like this: I can't take that on right now. I'm not available for that. That doesn't work for me. I need to rest tonight. I care about this, but I can't be the person who handles it. I'm not comfortable agreeing to that. I need more time before I answer. These sentences are simple, but for someone who has lived in compliance, they feel revolutionary because they interrupt the old pattern: fear to yes, to resentment, to exhaustion. Now the pattern becomes pause to truth, to boundary, to peace. The first time you do it, your body may panic. You may feel guilt, want to soften it, want to add 10 explanations so no one thinks badly of you. But remember, a boundary buried under apologies starts to sound like a negotiation. You do not need to punish others with your no, but you also do not need to decorate it until it becomes weak. Marcus Aurelius wrote that if something is right, do it. If something is true, say it. Not loudly, firmly. The radical shift happens when you stop managing other people's disappointment at the cost of your own integrity. Let them be disappointed. Disappointment is not danger. It is simply the sound of someone encountering the edge of your personhood. There is a different kind of life available. A life where your internal convictions and external actions finally match. This is psychological wealth, not wealth measured in money, applause, or approval, but in alignment. You say yes because you mean it. You say no because you respect yourself. Your energy stops leaking through false agreements. Your relationships become cleaner because they are no longer built on hidden resentment. And something surprising happens. People often respect you more when you stop being endlessly available. Not everyone. Some people benefited from your lack of boundaries, and they will resist the change. But those who value the real you will adjust, because a clear person is easier to trust than an agreeable person. An agreeable person may smile while silently resenting you. A clear person tells you the truth. Stoicism is not about becoming harsh. It is about becoming whole. The Stoics valued virtue over approval, character over comfort, truth over performance. And when your yes is no longer fueled by fear, it becomes powerful. It becomes sacred. It means, I choose this. I am present for this. I am not betraying myself to be here. That kind of yes carries weight because it comes from freedom. Your soul remembers every time you abandon it, every time you swallow the truth, every time you smile through resentment, every time you say yes while something ancient inside you whispers no. At first, the cost is small. A little fatigue, a little irritation, a little distance from yourself. But over time, the debt compounds, and no amount of external success, praise, or approval can fix the bankruptcy of a life built against your own truth. The Stoics would not ask you to be cruel, but they would ask you to be honest. They would ask you to stop confusing peace with silence, kindness with self-erasure, duty with fear. You are not here to subsidize everyone else's happiness with your soul. You are here to live with integrity. So the next time your mouth prepares to say yes, while your whole being tightens into no, pause, breathe, return to yourself, and choose the answer that lets you remain whole. Because the peace you gain by betraying yourself is always temporary. But the peace that comes from alignment, that is lasting. That is freedom. That is the life of a person who no longer pays for belonging with pieces of their own identity.